This is a little presentation on how to actually measure spring bar forces to get the proper distribution of weights on a weight distribution hitch. The basic problem is most things use a change in the height of the tow vehicle to infer what the weight distribution is. Unfortunately, some hitches use the spring bar forces to also cause dampening or stop the sway of the trailer, and you need to have this accurate for the vehicle to handle correctly. The final answer is to test the actual vehicle weights at a scale. Next, we actually set up the free body diagrams and do the calculations of the forces. This is the input parameters that you will use to do the calculation. These would be typical values for the trailer weights and the dimensions of the trailer and so on. Note that the weight is a negative number and the spring bar force is also a negative number. These are the formulas that give the weights transferred to the rear axle of the vehicle and the front axle of the tow vehicle, and the amount of weight that's transferred to the rear or to the travel trailer axle, remembering weight is transferred in both directions, forward and reverse. For this typical case, we would transfer 200 pounds to the front axle of the tow vehicle, 230 pounds to the rear axle of the tow vehicle, and 270 pounds back to the travel trailer axle. And of course, this adds up to a total weight of the 700 pounds originally tongue weight. A rig that will actually do that. I've taken a power ram and equipped it with a pressure gauge by inserting a 1/4-inch T and screwing a 1000 psi pressure gauge into the T. I've built a little rig, here, that has a couple sidebars and a top piece of pipe, and at the bottom another piece of pipe to support the spring bar. It's important, very important, that the center of the pipe be over the center of the ram, and when in use, the center of the lower part be over the center of the spring bar. Otherwise, it can rack or parallelogram, and it can be dangerous and deadly. You always have to be very, very careful. Basically, this rig you'll start jacking it up. Okay, pumping up the jack. You see the pressure rising. And right about there, the chain is now slack. This is only what I have done and what I found. It is not a recommendation, and I can assume no liability if anything goes wrong. Be sure to follow all safety procedures.